What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios for another exciting episode of building the UCS Acclamator. This was a very interesting episode for a couple of reasons. First is kind of a bad reason. So I made a fairly sizable bricklink order a while back with a lot of the pieces I needed to build the underside of the Acclamator, a lot of like the flat plating and stuff like that. And the order showed up about a week ago, and it was just a bunch of completely random pieces that I had no idea what they were for. Reached out to the bricklink seller. Turns out he sent my order to someone else and sent me someone else's order. So he sent me a label. So I sent out their order today. Hopefully I'll be getting that one soon. Who knows? I'm really frustrated, to be honest, just because I can't just go out and buy more pieces because I have them coming to me, but who knows when they're going to get here. But I need those pieces to continue on with the Acclamator. So that's been frustrating. So I've tried to kind of figure out what exactly can I work on in the meantime to still make sure progress is happening while not having to buy new parts, which is a tough challenge, but it's a good one. In more exciting news, I will be attaching 4 of the reactors to the back of the Acclamator. I'm very excited and very apprehensive just because I have no idea how this is going to happen, because I'm not sure where they need to go and just where they need to, I just got to figure everything out. I don't really have much figured out other than, I have the reactor built and I kind of know how I'll hook it to the ship a little bit. All that being said, I think it's time to get building. Okay, I hope you guys are excited for an action-packed week. You can see now that I'm over here on the smaller table, I'm in a much more cramped area now that Kato Nemoidia's got the big table, but we are still going to get some work done. So initially I was going to plan on starting the paneling on the underside here, but all the parts that I need to do that were in a bricklink order that got screwed up, and I'm still waiting back to hear what he's going to do to fix it. So this week I'm going to be focusing on the back here, connecting these reactors to the body, finishing up this tail piece, and then starting on this frame area right here. So first thing I want to talk about is the reactor itself. I don't know if you can tell right here, but it's actually much smaller than it was initially. This is what they used to look like. You can see it's a good 3 studs shorter now. And I did this because this is more accurate to the overall look of the Acclamator. These reactors only go about 3/4 the length of this rear tail. So if I was to stick this one on, you can see it basically goes most of the length. So I had to shorten it down. I shortened this section down right here and shortened the end, and I think it still looks pretty nice. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this new kind of carbine reactor. Behind that, we've got what's going to be connecting it to the ship. I kind of showed you this already a long time ago, but it's basically just a rough Technic frame that's holding the reactor and then, connecting to the frame of the ship right here. It is a little bit wobbly. You can see it does shake a little bit, but last night on my live stream, I flipped it around right side up, and this didn't sag at all. So that's a good sign. I think what I might do is run a Technic pin down the center of this just to strengthen it up and make sure there's no bending or cracking on the inside there. But so far, so good. So what I'm going to do next is basically just replicate this, but on that side. I kind of started, you can see I've got this outer crossbar in, and then I started putting some brick in right here. It's not super complicated. And then over here, I started working on the tail. It's super simple underneath, like the bottom side of the tail. I looked at actual images of the Acclamator, and this is just completely flat. No detailing, nothing at all. So I think I'm just going to make it brick built like this, and then I'm going to have a piece of plate and tile coming down this backside right here. Probably once I'm done, I'll show you a better look at this, maybe flip it right side up because you can't really see what's going on here super well. Here's a look at it from the other side. You can see it's literally just a wall of light bluish gray. That's pretty much everything I've got for you guys right now. Once I get the second reactor in, we will check back in for another update. I got all 4 of the reactors in place. You can see the 2 main ones right there on either side of this tail area, and then I got these smaller ones stuck onto the side as well. Honestly, it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I was kind of dreading it just because I had no idea how I was going to do this. But I mean, it was pretty straightforward. Like I showed you how I hooked the larger ones in already. The smaller ones were even easier. Literally just stuck a large Technic pin through this reactor, and then it came out the back of that little brick. And I just connected that next to the larger reactor. The hardest part, I guess, so far has been trying to fill in the gaps in between the reactors. You can see I did a pretty good job on this side. You can't really see in to the ship at all, a tiny bit right there, but the biggest gap is probably that one right there. I don't know how well you can see it, but you can actually see into the ship right there. So I'm going to need to fix that, but I'm really happy with how they look. I may be adjusting them in the future just because I'm not sure what this area is going to look like, because it's going to be flat right here, then either side is going to slant down right here. So if the slant runs into these things, or if these things are too far out that way and I need to scoot them in a little bit more just to be able to get that angle, I might have to do that. I hope I don't, just because that'll make things a lot more complicated. But for now, everything is good to go. What I'm going to be working on next is sticking some Technic pieces in the center area right here, and those are going to be for the stand, because obviously this is going to need to sit on some kind of stand. I can't just let it rest on these reactors in this part and the bottom piece. So I will be back with another update soon. I'm checking back in one last time for the week, just to kind of give you an overview of what happened and kind of show you what's going on right here. So I got this front section of the underside in place. This is just a long strip of Technic pieces. I don't know, Technic bricks, and then whatever these things are, Technic rods, I guess you could call them. And it just goes from this end to this end. This thing is actually very important, because this front section, all of the weight of both the panels and this middle section fall directly on this crossbar piece, and it was starting to sag with how much weight was on it. But now that weight will be displaced to right here, and then displaced along this thing, and then hopefully, you know, displacing that weight throughout here. So I'll be able to display this thing right side up with this thing kind of, you know, free floating without it sagging, which will be really nice. I also got the beginnings of some stands in place. I'm not really sure where these are going to go or what they're going to look like. I just figured I should put something in now. That way, when I build around this, I won't have to take it apart when I'm done to put the stand in. They're pretty simple, just a couple of Technic pieces. I got them secured in there pretty well, so they're not going anywhere. And then I think I'll just have like some kind of brick stand right here connecting them, and then something small over here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for this front part. These ones are kind of like where a lot of the weight will be sitting, so I wanted to focus more on those. I did also get some of the interior frame on the bottom built. It's going to be all brick built right here. There's not going to be anything fancy because everything will be covered by panels. So I'm just going to be continuing this brickwork up till it's level with this back part right here. It'll come around, wrap around the front here, and then come around this side, basically creating a square right here. And then I'm just going to plate off this entire top part, and then panels are going to come down at an angle right here and right there, and then this big strip right here is going to come down and then end at about right here. So pretty good progress. I'm really happy to have the engines in. This is a big milestone right here. I feel like once I get this middle section figured out, all of the hard stuff will be done, and then from there it's really just going to be doing minor, smaller things. I could be wrong. These panels could be a big pain, but only time will tell. Anyways, that wraps up everything for this update. Time to hit the outro. I hope you guys enjoyed this week of building the UCS Acclamator. I'm very happy with the progress that was made. Honestly, those parts not coming in hasn't really been a big deal. I feel like I've been able to get a lot done. I probably could go another week without getting them in, but I would like to get them in soon, because I want to figure out, you know, what parts I still need to order, so that I can make another big order. I try to make as few Bricklink orders as possible just to minimize shipping and just to cut down on those costs. So I try to build as long as I can, you know, build up a catalog of parts that I need, order them all in. All that being said, another great week down. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to leave me a big thumbs up. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, anything at all, don't forget to drop them down below in the comments section. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future content. But until next time, happy building.